It's fall, it's Friday, so why not make a soup and call it Fall Soup Friday? So that's what we're doing. I am making tonight for you a creamy chicken and potato chowder for dinner. And stay till the end because I've never tried this recipe before. So stay to the end and I'm gonna give you my review of the soup and let you know if I liked it, how I liked it, if there were any changes I would want to make. So make sure you stay to the end and let's go ahead and get started making the soup. To make the chicken and corn chowder, these are the ingredients that you need, and I am taking a shortcut on all of it. I was gonna get a rotisserie chicken. They didn't have any that were freshly done. So they do have the Walmart that I shop at has the prepackaged kind. So I have my shredded chicken. It calls for an onion, red bell pepper, and celery. But instead of buying all that and cutting it up, I just bought this. It called for whipping cream, heavy whipping cream, but my Walmart didn't have it, so I had to get half and half. Hopefully that'll work. It calls for corn, chicken broth, minced garlic, a little bit of flour, bacon, and if you don't want to peel, use these yellow potatoes, and all they have were these little baby ones. So I'm going to cut those up, and a tablespoon of butter. So that is what is called for in this recipe. So let's get started. The first thing you're gonna have to do is to cook the bacon, and it says to have it chopped, but since I need to keep the bacon grease, I'm not gonna chop it before I cook it. It'll be easier to take the bacon out like this. So I'm gonna cook the bacon, but I'm gonna keep the grease. Now it is time to add the tablespoon of butter into the bacon drippings and let it melt. And while that's melting, the recipe I'm cutting in half, so it calls for 1 red bell pepper, 1 onion, and 3 stalks of celery, but I'm cutting it in half because it's just for me and my husband. So I'm going to put in what would be the equivalent of like half of that. So I realized I have half a bag of that left in the freezer from making gumbo the other night. So I am just going to use the rest of that. And once I let all of this cook and soften, then we will move on. All right, the recipe calls for the veggies to be slightly softened. So I think that is probably good. Looks like a good color. Now, it also calls for 2 cloves of garlic. Now, I will say, when I was looking at the reviews for this, a couple of people said it was kind of bland. So, even though I'm cutting it in half, I'm still probably going to use 2 cloves. And I think 1 teaspoon is 1 clove, so I'm going to use about that much. Does that look right? I don't know. I will probably add more garlic in the form of garlic powder in a little bit, but anyway, you want to cook this for about 30 seconds. You don't want to cook it long because you don't want the garlic to burn. So after this cooks for about 30 seconds, then you are going to add a 1/3 cup of flour. Now I cut it in half, so I'm cutting the 1/3 cup in half, but I put a little bit more simply because I don't have the heavy whipping cream. So maybe a little extra flour will get it to the thickness I want, but if it doesn't, I may have to make a little slurry. But anyway, all right, that is about right. So I'm gonna sprinkle the flour on here. It says sprinkle, so that's what I'm doing. I'm a rule follower for the most part. And then you are going to cook that for probably about 30 seconds. Then you're going to start adding in the chicken broth. It calls for 6 cups, but I am only going to use 3. So I bought the box of reduced sodium. Can you see that? Reduced sodium. You know, trying to eat healthier as I put all this flour and the potatoes, and let me not kid y'all. But anywhere where I can cut out a little bit of extra salt, I will do it. All right, now I'm gonna add the chicken broth. And I pour it on the spoon just because it reduces the splashing of it going straight into the pot and splashing everywhere. So, like a little waterfall, little chicken broth waterfall. All right, does that feel about right? Maybe a little bit more. Then, while this is cooking, all right, that's about right. Feels about right in the box. I'm gonna get this mixed up real good, and while this is kind of cooking for a couple minutes, I am going to chop up those potatoes, and they will be ready to add in just a couple minutes. All right, the potatoes are cut up, so now I'm gonna add the potatoes to the broth, and this is where you add salt and pepper, but I'm not going to add any salt. And like I said earlier, it said it was bland, so I'm adding a lot of pepper. And then I'm going to add some onion powder, and I'll add a little more garlic. Oh shoot, it's clogged up. I'm gonna add a little more a little more garlic powder. And later, if I need to, I'll add some Tony Chachere's just to give it a little extra kick. But I think that should be good. So now you just wanna let this cook for about 10 minutes or until the potatoes are fork tender. All right, I've tested the potatoes and you can stick a fork in it. So now I'm going to add the corn. And I will put a link to where I found this recipe in the description box below. But I'm gonna add the chicken. And then I'm gonna add the cream. And I feel like it's probably gonna need a little more broth because this is really thick. I mean, I know chowder is supposed to be thick, but this is like really thick. So I'm gonna just add the rest of this broth. And also with this, I am going to serve, I think I'm gonna make grilled cheese sandwiches. So we're gonna have this and a grilled cheese sandwich. So now you just wanna bring this back up to a simmer and cook for another about 10 to 15 minutes, and then it will be done. All right, I think it is ready So now I'm just gonna go make a couple of grilled cheese sandwiches real quick, and then it will be time to eat. Let me know in the comments below, do you make fancy grilled cheese? Because I don't. Mine is just plain old bread and American cheese with some mayonnaise on each side and then butter on the outside. Just a plain old grilled cheese. My soup is ready and my grilled cheese is ready. So let's serve this up. It looks really good. Corn and potato chowder. Chicken and potato chowder. Something like that. Now that it's served up, you're gonna add a little bit of the chopped bacon that you cooked at the beginning. And then if you have some green onions, you can sprinkle some green onions on top. So that, my friends, is what's for dinner. All right, so here's my review. It was very good. It was a very good soup. It was very hearty. However, there are a couple of changes I would make. So as I said in the video, there were a couple of reviews that said it was kind of bland. So I added more seasoning. I would probably even add more seasoning. Maybe a little more pepper, some more garlic, I don't know, but it does need more seasoning. The second thing I would probably do is, and this would make it much quicker, is I would use hash brown potatoes instead of cutting up the potatoes, because I like my potatoes a little bit smaller. So I wish I would have cut the potatoes up smaller. And hash brown potatoes are much easier. So that is another change I would make. Let me know if you've ever tried something like this before and what seasonings you use. Let me know that in the comments below. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. I would love it if you would consider subscribing to my channel if you like meal ideas, shopping hauls, home decor, organization. That is what I do here, and I would love to have you be a part of my YouTube family. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Also, give the video a thumbs up if you want more soup recipes for fall, if you like the Fall Friday soup idea. But anyway, let me know in the comments below. Thumbs up. Don't forget to click the bell button, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.